In this video lecture, we will discuss about the human skeletal system. And as we see here, that the skeletal system of the human being is made up of two main components, bone and cartilage. The bone is made up of hard matrix, and the main component of the hard matrix of the bone is calcium. But in case of cartilage, it is made up of flexible matrix, and the main component of this flexible matrix which forms the cartilage is chondroitin salt. So this is the main difference between bone and cartilage. Bones are hard, but the cartilage is flexible in nature. Now we'll see the total bones present in the human being. So a total of 206 bones are there in the human being, and it has been divided into two categories. First one is called axial skeleton and second is called appendicular skeleton. So the number of bones in the this axial skeleton is 80, and this axial skeleton is made up of skull, vertebral column, sternum and ribs. And we can see here that how many bones are making skull, how many bones are making vertebral column, sternum and ribs. So as we can see that out of this total of 80 axial skeleton, 22 bones are present in the skull, and out of those, a total of 8 bones are forming the cranial bone, 14 are forming the facial bone, and one hyoid bone. So we can see this, the cranial bone covers the brain, facial bone present in frontal part of the skull, and in case of vertebral column, there are a total of 26 bones. In case of sternum, there is a single bone, and in case of ribs, there are 12 pairs of ribs, and it forms the axial skeleton. And the total number of bones, as I told before, that uh, the number of these bones are 80. So by this figure, we can understand the axial skeleton. So we can see that this blue colored part is representing the axial skeleton, and it is present in the central axis of the body of the human being. So we can see here that skull, hyoid bone and ribs, sternum and vertebral column. It forms the axial skeleton, and the total number of bones in this axial skeleton is 80. Now we'll see the second category of the bone, and this second category, or we can say the appendicular skeleton, are further divided into mainly three categories: limb, pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle. So a total of 30 bones are there in the limb, and it forms the forelimbs and hind limb. And the pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle means a total of these structures are forming the appendicular skeleton. These appendicular skeleton are present lateral side to the axial skeleton. So we can see that this pink colored structure is representing the appendicular skeleton, and this appendicular skeleton, as we can see, is attached with the central structure which is known as the axial skeleton. So we can see how these appendicular skeleton and axial skeletons are located in our body. So here we will discuss each of the component of the bone one by one. So first we'll discuss about the skull. So the total bones of the skull are 22, and a total of 8 bones are forming the cranial bone, and a total of 14 bones are forming the facial bone. And these cranial bones are forming the brain box which protects the brain, and the facial bones are present in the frontal part of the skull, means it forms the face of the skull. Now we'll see what is hyoid. So it is a U-shaped bone which is present at the base of the buccal cavity. So this is the buccal cavity. So at the base of this buccal cavity, U-shaped bone is there, and it is called as hyoid bone. Now, the middle ear is also having bones. So we have studied these bones, malleus, incus, and stapes. So in both of the ears, in middle ear, there are three bones. Means a total of six bones are there in both of the middle ear, and these ear bones are also called as ear ossicles. Now, one important point is there that as the skull articulates on the vertebral column with the help of two occipital condyles, and this is called as, that's why the human skull is called as dicondylic skull. So what happens, as we know that our skull moves right and left, so it moves on the vertebral column with the help of two occipital condyles. Now, the second bone is vertebral column, and this vertebral column is formed by a total of 26 bones, and these vertebral column bones are also called as vertebrae. And as we know, the vertebral column is situated in our body on the dorsal side, and each vertebra has a hollow portion. Means each bone of the vertebral column is having a central hollow portion through which neural canal runs. It means, as we know, that our hind brain is attached with the spinal cord, and this spinal cord uh, is situated in the central part of the vertebral column. And the first vertebra is of the human being is called atlas, on which occipital condyles of the skull articulate. So we should know the name of the first vertebrae. So the name of the first vertebrae is called as atlas bone, just because on this atlas the skull moves with the help of occipital condyles. So we can see that this is the vertebral column, and as we can see that there are uh, a total of 26 bones which is forming the whole structure. So the all the bones of this vertebral column can be divided into several categories based on the position. So cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal. So we can see there are different groups of these vertebral columns which is situated in particular portion of the human body. So first, as I told before, the first vertebrae is called atlas, and we can see there are a total of seven cervical bones, a total of 12 thoracic bones, there are a total of 5 lumbar bones, and one fused sacral bone, and one fused coccygeal bone. So all together it forms the vertebral column. So we can see that this vertebral column is situated in the human body on the dorsal side, and these different colors are representing the uh, different groups of these vertebral column. And as we can see that it has been grouped in one, two, three, four, five, a total of five groups: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal or caudal. There is one more important point, as the cervical is the seventh in number in all mammals. So it is very important point that the the uh, the total number of cervical vertebrae is seven in all the mammals. Means its number doesn't vary among the mammals. Now we'll discuss about the sternum. So sternum is present on the frontal part of the chest. So it is a flat bone and present on the vertebral midline of the thorax, and its position, its exact position, we can say that it is present in the front of vertebral column and on ventral side of the body. Now we'll see the details of ribs. So as I told that it is composed of 12 pairs of bones, and these ribs are dorsally connected to the vertebral column and ventrally to the sternum. So we can see these are the ribs. So as I told that ribs are present on the frontal part, and the vertebral column is situated on the dorsal side. So what happens? These ribs are joining the vertebral column on the dorsal side and the sternum on ventral side. Now we can see there are again different kinds of, or we can see the groups of these ribs. So there are 7 pairs of true ribs, 3 pairs of false ribs, and 2 pairs of floating ribs. So it is forming a total of 12 pairs of ribs. So we will see why they are saying different, why we are knowing these ribs with different names: true, false, and floating bones. So these 7 pairs of bones are called true ribs just because it is attached dorsally on the vertebral column and ventrally by sternum. So they are having a proper position and attachment. But in case of false ribs, which are present in 3 pairs, and their number is 8, 9, and 10. These are attached on the seventh rib with the help of hyaline cartilage. Means these 3 ribs, 1, 2, 3, these 3 ribs are not attaching with the uh, sternum directly. They are attached on the seventh pair, or we can say the last pair of the true ribs. That's why these are called as false ribs. Now, the last pair of the ribs are called floating ribs, and these their number is 11th and 12th pair. They are called as floating bones, floating ribs, just because they are not connected with this sternum at all. Means uh, they are floating kind of structure. Now we'll discuss about the appendicular skeleton, and this appendicular skeleton is composed of limbs, pectoral girdle, and pelvic girdle. So under this limb, there are two categories of the combination of bones. First one is the forelimb, and second is the hind limb. Means a pair of forelimb is there and a pair of hind limb is there. Forelimb is made up of a total of 30 bones, and these 30 bones are different in structure and having different function also. So the first bone is humerus. So we can see this bone. So this bone is humerus, and this is a single bone. Then this bone is a combination of two bones, radius and ulna. So two bones are there. After this, there is a wrist bone, and it is formed by 8 different bones, and it is formed by the carpal. And after that, a five bone is there. The name of these bones is metacarpal, and it forms the palm of the hand, or we can say the forelimb. And after that, a total of 14 bones are there, which forms the digits, and these bones are called as phalanges. So we can see the zoomed structure here, so that we can easily understand the different bones. So this is the humerus, this is the radius and ulna, this is the carpal and metacarpal, and these are the phalanges. It means the forelimb is composed of, we can say, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Means 5 sets of bones forms the forelimb, and there are a total of 30 bones which forms the forelimb. Now we'll see the hind limb. So by this figure, we can understand it is again made up of different sets of bones. So there is a long bone, this bone, which is called as femur, and it is in a single limb. It is its number is one. Means in a pair, the femur bone is 2, and it is the longest bone of the human body. Then there is the tibia fibula. So we can see these bones. These two bones are tibia and fibula. After that, tarsals are there. These are the tarsals. These are composed of seven bones. After that, metatarsals, and this metatarsals are of five in number. Then phalanges. So the phalanges are composed of 14 bones, and there is one more bone which is called as knee bone or patella cover. So this is the patella or knee bone. So we can see there is again a different kind of set of bones which form the hind leg. Now we can see the pectoral girdle. So this pectoral girdle is composed of two sets of bone. The first set of bone is called clavicle, which forms the collarbone. So we can see the clavicle. These clavicle bone are called as collarbone, and the second set of bone is called scapula. This is a triangular flat bone, and it is present on the dorsal side of the body. So on ventral side we can see these are the clavicle. Clavicle is the collarbone, as I told, and from the back of our body we can see, means this is the dorsal view of the bone. So this is a triangular structure which is present on the dorsal side of the body. So this is called scapula, and it is the triangular structure. And in this pectoral girdle, there is a cavity-like structure, glenoid cavity. In this glenoid cavity, the humerus is attached. So we can see this is the forelimb. Uh, this is the part of forelimb, means the humerus. So humerus is attached with this pectoral girdle with this glenoid cavity. Means glenoid cavity is present in the pectoral girdle, which helps to join with the humerus. So this is the last set of bone, which is called as pelvic girdle, and it is made up of two coxal bone, and each of the coxal bone is formed by the fusion of three different bones, and the name of these bones are ilium, ischium, and pubis. So all these three bones are forming the coxal bone, and two coxal bones are forming the pelvic girdle. And there is a depression which is called as acetabulum. So with this acetabulum, our hind limbs are getting attached. Means the femur of our hind limb is attached with this pelvic girdle through this acetabulum. So we can see the structure in detail here. So this is the ilium, ischium, and pubis. So this all these bones are forming the pectoral girdle of the human being. So now we'll discuss about the joints, and the joints are the point of contact between two bones and between one bone and one cartilage. And there is a skeletal muscle which is attached with these joints. So the force generated by the muscles is used to carry out the movement in bones. Now, there are different kinds of joints are present in our body. So the first kind of joint is called fibrous joint. So these joints are characterized by uh, the those joints which do not allow any movement. Means these are present in between the bones or in between the bone and cartilage, but they do not allow the movement. It helps in attachment of two systems, either two bones or one bone and one cartilage. And joints, the joints of flat skull bones which fuse in to in with the help of dense fibrous connective tissue. It means these fibrous joints are present in our skull. So as we have seen that our skull is composed of several kinds of bones. So all these bones which are present in our skull is attached with each other with these kind of uh, joints, and the joints are fibrous joints. And as we know that among the bones of our skull there no movement. So it doesn't allow any movement. So second kind of joint is called cartilaginous joints. So these cartilaginous joints are present where the two bones are joining together. So at the we can say the end of the bones where both the bones are joining together, the cartilage is present, and these are present in our vertebrae. So in between vertebrae, there is a cartilage which is present between the joints. So the third kind of joint is called synovial joint. So these are the joints which are filled with the fluid between articulating surface of two bones, and this since this fluid is present in the synovial joint, that's why this fluid is called synovial fluid, and it allows the movement of bone, means this fluid helps in the movement of bone on the joint, and these joints help in locomotion and many other movements of our body also. And the examples are different kinds of uh, joints are present in our body system. So there is a ball and socket joint, means there is a ball like structure and there is a socket like structure. So what happens? So bone articulates in socket, and there is a kind of joint, and it is present in between the humerus and pectoral girdle. The hinge kind of joint is present in our knee joint. Then the third kind of synovial joint is the pivot joint, and it is present between the atlas and the axis. And the next kind of synovial joint is the gliding joint, and here the joints are present between the carpal, and the last kind of synovial joints at the saddle joint. So by the name we can understand that it is present between the carpal and metacarpal of the thumb. So these are the different kinds of joints which are helping us in our movement and locomotion. Thank you.